Hi, I'm Dan from Ozgel.
And I'm Gilly.
And today we are having a chat with your one, your only, little homie Gilly from Tactical Edge Hobbies. All right, Gilly, firstly, thank you so much, mate, for coming up. And, it's really thrilling to have you up here, all the way from Tactical Edge Hobbies on the south side there.
Yeah.
Bit of a trek for you to get up here.
It was.
Oh, man. Look, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into the industry? How did you get into Tac Edge?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm a nurse by trade. I'm a enrolled endorsed nurse.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so EEN. I was doing that for a while, and as I was doing nursing,
Yep.
as you know, nursing can be very stressful at times. So I had to, normally my outlet was video games, right?
Yep.
So just chuck it on, I'll be fine.
Nice.
But I was noticing that it wasn't helping, so I thought, well, what other hobbies can I get into? And I got into collecting sneakers and things of that nature, and I was noticing that people like overseas were doing sneaker reviews, but there was none here in Australia. So I thought, why not try starting up a YouTube channel or something like that? So I started the channel, and then I thought, well, I'm not going to just limit to that. I'll go into whatever I like. Now, I went into a Supernova. I found a gel blaster for the first time. Yeah. It was one of those, those Beretta hopper feds.
I remember them, and you could get the little foregrip for the front as well. Yeah, I do remember them.
Okay, so I got ripped off, guaranteed. But
you and me both, brother.
I paid like 120. I just can't believe it. And I fell in love with the Gel Blasters. So I started joining all the Gel Blaster groups that were available at the time on Facebook. And what happened was I noticed that Tac Edge has put out a post saying that they got the container back or something along those lines. And I was wondering, well, what's going on here? So I thought, why not contact them and see if I can do a vlog? So I contacted Joe Zarillo, and he was able to allow me to, do a vlog on them, and I did that.
Yep.
And then a few months later, I got a call from him and Peter Clark asking, hey, do you want to do our social media? Because we're opening up a store. And so I was like, sure, why not? Let's give it a crack. And I don't know, just something about Tac Edge. I felt this company has something. So let's see where this goes. And 3.5 years later, here I am.
Huge mega store on the south side there.
It's
mate, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, Tac Edge has come a really long way. They've got a really good social media presence. Yeah. Thanks very much, Lee. I think to you mostly.
Look, I believe Peter Clark had a bit to do with it as well.
There you go. Here we go, Mr. Humble over here. Excellent. No, that's cool, mate. And look, you're a great personality online as well. I always see that whenever you're doing your lives, you always have a big loyal following there, and you're always quite placid. I mean, there's one of the things I know is on social you can get a lot of trolls out there, a lot of just mean people, saying nasty things. But the one thing I notice with you is you always seem to keep your cool.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is if you put yourself out there, you got to expect that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And the thing is the way I see it is if I don't get a reaction from you, that's when I feel like I've failed.
Yeah.
So any sort of reaction for me is like a win, whether it be negative or whatever it is.
Yep.
The only thing I don't stand for is when it seeps into reality, so to speak, because I've had that before.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That
So
was nasty.
I had to, confront that and whatnot.
Yeah.
But apart from that, look, it is what it is. I enjoy what I do, so.
Yeah, that's right. Because, I don't know if you're comfortable about talking about that, but you got a call or something at home, was it?
Yeah. So something happened at an event of ours, and somebody somehow got my personal number and called my mobile up, hoping I was going to pick up, but it was actually my wife that answered the phone call, and she copped it. So. Yeah, it was one of those things, But since then, nothing's happened, which is good. But I think the community is maturing as time goes on, which is amazing. And I've always said that this community has always been the most passionate, awesome community to be involved, because it doesn't matter if you're a noob or not. You go to a field, and everyone's willing to help you.
Exactly.
And no one has that ego. I mean, you'll have the ego on the field, but everyone's always wanting to help, wanting to give their opinions, and it's just so awesome to see. So
I totally agree. There's so many sports where you turn up and the egos are also off the fields and you're not as welcome sort of thing, but then you turn up to a gel ball event and the community is just like 10 times more friendly than just about any other hobby or sport, that I've ever attended. So
I totally agree.
That's cool.
I mean, if you think about it, it's cliquey, but it's not.
Exactly.
So, it's weird.
You can sort of step in and out of the community as you wish.
So
yeah, it's pretty cool like that. But speaking of working within the industry, though, how has COVID-19 affected your day-to-day work?
Well, obviously being a nurse, as soon as I started, especially last year, as soon as we started noticing, okay, they're about to shut down, we implemented, the basic infection control procedures and whatnot. We were worried at one point, but we noticed that people were still coming in, so we were fine. Thank God. I know other people were struggling a little bit, but no, look, right now we do everything that we have to, obviously by law, but it hasn't affected us too much. So.
Oh, cool. Well, that's good to know. And do you have a favourite gel blaster? And if you do, why?
Okay. So I've stated this in many vlogs. My favourite still to this day, and it's just because it has sentimental value, would be my Gen 8.
Your Gen 8?
My Gen 8.
Wow.
I know. A lot of people are going, are you for real? Reason why is it's what got me into this industry.
Yeah.
It was the first blaster I purchased that I built. I will say that Matt, our technician, helped me. Oh, he actually built it, but I paid for it. That's why I say I built it. Okay.
You can claim that.
I'll claim that. But I don't know. That holds a lot of sentimental value. So I always say that. But realistically, if we're going to talk what would really be a blast that I think is absolutely amazing right now at this present time, I would have two, which would be the classic Army KM10 and the PX9. Because the PX9 has
classic
that MOSFET.
Army. Amazing quality.
It's funny because we get a lot of people really wanting to know why we pushing that emphasis with classic Army, and it's because they do deliver high quality products. So.
Oh, that's good. And mate, it's funny, the mention you made about the Gen 8 there, I remember one of my first blasters, same path as you, like I bought two blasters. One of them was that Desert Eagle with a plastic hopper fed sort of top. And then it was a sniper rifle with the same sort of hopper unit. I got one of those. I think it was from Renegade Blasters or something. And it was just crazy.
I would have been happy to get something from Renegade or anything along that back then. But I think I got it from Sydney Tactical that was in a Supernova or something like that.
Nice.
So that's why I was like,
excellent.
okay.
Oh, that's cool. But no, I think it was actually Joe at Tactical Edge Hobbies. I think when he was still selling, from home, so right in the early days, I remember I purchased a couple of G36s off him, one for me, one for my wife. And I thought they were the bee's knees. And I know the Gen 8 was sort of out at the same time, and everyone was like either Gen 8 or G36. And I was like, no, definitely G36. But then the Gen 8 just took off.
That was the grey
and blue one.
The grey and blue one, because I remember I saw a video with some guys like shooting a can or something that tore up with that thing. So I was very tempted to get the G36 as well. So. Oh,
well, man, in the end, I think I made the wrong decision because the Gen 8 just completely revolutionised the industry.
It did. I mean, we were playing with, I remember at one point, the Terminators were going for like $200 or something, and it was insane. And I was willing to pay that. Thank God I didn't. But
Oh, the prices back then. People complain now, man.
There were crack prices, as I was saying.
Oh my God. All right, so something that I noticed, so before all these podcasts, I do a lot of research into, the people that I'm about to interview. And with you, I noticed you had this really awesome looking trip to California. You looked like you went to a very well-known airsoft store. Mate, tell us about that trip.
Oh, man, going to California, it was a little bit of business and definitely more personal as well. But when I went to Evike, before we left, I thought, it'd be stupid not to try to get in contact with them and see if I can get some sort of vlog happening. They said it was all cool, so I went in there, and man, Evike is on another level. Like, it really is, because the store is massive, it's well presented, but that warehouse was, and they gave me a private tour of the warehouse and how corporate works and all that, but my God,
because haven't they got like a big, not a conveyor belt, but a big like trolley belt looking thing for all their mail?
It's insane.
Oh, that's crazy.
But I mean, Evike was really cool. What I found more, I guess, exciting is when I went to Tac City.
The big airsoft field.
Yes. Yeah, I went to Tac City because, like you, I was a huge fan of the SYG videos and all that sort of stuff. And
Demo and all the guys.
Funny enough, I was trying to organize an interview with Demo, but our schedules wasn't lined up, which I just missed out, unfortunately. But getting to play at Tac City was really cool. the way they structured the layout and everything.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, and
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't believe me when I came back and said this, I still feel like our gel blasters hit harder. Because I know, and that's a big comment
Yeah.
to state. But when I was getting smacked with these BBs, I really didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Compared to when I get smacked with a gel ball. So I was like, well, what's the issue? Why am I feeling? So I spoke to one of the guys there, and he was explaining that obviously the weight, the grams, and all that.
Yep.
And so, but I still thought, our product is.
I think there's like the technical terminology. I did a podcast with Kamikaze just recently, and even
Cam.
he was Cam. He was even trying to explain. He thinks it might be with gel balls because they squash a little bit. You've got more transfer of energy as it hits your skin.
Yeah.
Whereas a BB completely solid, it'll just bounce off. So you get that little sting initially, and then it's gone. Whereas with a gel ball, it's like pain that just stays and stays. So
yeah. But it's California is definitely if anyone could head there, I'll definitely suggest try the airsoft fields. It is so much fun.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Now, look, I know that you play all codes of gel ball at the moment, but do you actually personally have a go-to? Like, you a Speedsoft or a Milsim guy?
Okay, so coming straight into it, I was, and this is taking a note from I believe the leader of Slop Traders.
Yeah,
I was one of those guys, those heavy set dudes in the operator suit. Okay, I'm going to admit that.
Hey mate, no judgment here.
But I enjoyed that at going to Nuketown and everything like that. But I'll be honest with you, I think speedball is where it's at.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. Or Speedsoft, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to legitimize this sport moving forward, definitely.
Oh, man, I totally agree. And I've got to say, one of my very first experiences with speedball wasn't actually at Guerrilla Blasters, as a lot of people might think. It was actually at Nuketown. Oh, so it was when it was run by both, I think it was Azrael's Armory and Tack Edge were there.
Yep.
And you know how there's those two lanes in the middle? They get the cars and park them.
Yep.
I played speedball there for the first time, and I had not felt that level of aggression, adrenaline, and competition in any gel ball game ever. And I remember playing that and going, oh my God, that was amazing. And then when we got hit, it was one life, we came off. And I remember there was one kid that came in and cleaned up like so many guys, and everyone was cheering him on. And that's sort of where I went, holy crap. This is the real deal.
It's funny you mention that because it was exactly the same. I fell in love with that at Nuketown.
Yep.
It was, I think it was called the Battle of Brisbane or something along those lines where, it was Brisbane versus Gold Coast. And just in that lane, it was so hectic. It was awesome. So since then, I was like, I've got to try more of this.
Yeah,
so.
and that's it. And it just grows from there. That's great.
Exactly.
All right, now, Gilly, tell us something about you that nobody really knows.
Oh, geez. You really want me to expose my soul here?
Yes.
Let's see. Everyone knows I'm a huge nerd and geek. I like my pop culture. I guess I'm just a huge Joker fan.
Huge Joker fan?
Yeah,
Nice.
I love the Joker. I think as a character, he's amazing. So, yeah.
Do you ever dress up like the Joker, put
No,
makeup on, all that sort of stuff?
Unfortunately, I don't have the physique for it. So, I just tend to keep it real and just like him from afar.
Could be middle-aged Joker, you never know.
Middle-aged.
But you said pop culture fan? Like anything in particular? Like do you collect anything? Or
Dude, I guess I'm a hoarder. I collect a lot of things, bro. Look, I collect anything from pop vinyls to figurines. Yeah, look, when I grew up, comics were just it for me. And then I got into movies and so on and so on. So, just the love of just pop culture in general. I just
that's cool.
With. So, yeah.
And you've obviously got, so it looks like you've got some kind of background where your heritage is potentially South American, is that?
Yeah, I'm from Central America, from El Salvador.
Oh, nice. Cool. And you come here when you were young, or?
Yeah, so I came here when I was 6 months old. We lived in Victoria, and in 94 we moved up to Queensland. Yep. And look, not disrespecting anyone from Melbourne or Victoria, but thank God we moved up here. I definitely have become a true Queenslander in a sense. But we moved up here and
Well, actually, I think you were mentioning off camera, you're an NRL fan.
Yes.
So I mean, that's like the icing on the cake. That's where you're a Queenslander,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved AFL back in the day when I was a kid, obviously living in Victoria.
Who'd you follow?
Carlton, believe it or not.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, the reason why, hold on, I know. But we had the Carlton football players
Yep.
come to my primary school.
Yeah.
So I got to know some of the older players like Anthony Koutafidis, Angelo Christou, a whole bunch of
Yep.
cool dudes. So obviously, because I interacted with them, I liked
Yeah.
them. But then coming up here, NRL is a whole
I
different
guess it's not Collingwood either, so that's always good.
Well, yeah,
And who do
yeah.
you follow in the NRL?
Look, I ain't gonna lie, it's Brisbane. I ain't gonna lie.
The Broncos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know it's very stereotypical, but since growing up, yeah, they were just cool.
Why not? No, that's
So, yeah.
cool, mate. That's really cool. All right, well, look, let's switch back to gel ball, I guess, now. But what do you perceive to be the future of gel ball in Australia?
Oh man, look, I think gel ball as an industry, it's right now we are at that pinnacle stage where we can literally take it further than it could ever been imagined.
Yep.
I mean, think about it this way: 3 years ago, a lot of people were selling from their garages. Now we're having stores. We've got fields.
Yep.
I mean, I honestly think if we go in the same trajectory, we are going to have absolute world class fields.
Yep.
Our product is going to be on par, if not, I reckon, better than airsoft.
Yeah.
In all honesty, and who knows, maybe airsoft will get introduced and legalized. But the first thing, and I've always said this in my lives and whatnot, we need to make sure that this gets legalized in all states first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's the one thing that I beg people is, don't rely just on the retailers to
Yeah.
do the fighting. You guys have to email your
Everyone get involved.
exactly. Email your local politician.
Yep.
Let it be known that these are safe. These are toys. These are
Yeah.
great for health reasons. I mean, it's just it really is. So. I'm hoping that first up we can have illegalized and then have interstate competitions. That's what I really want to see, and then
That's really
international, of course.
Awesome. All right, now I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Go for
I hope I don't get you in trouble back at work.
No.
Okay, so who do you think would win in a 1v1, Peter Clark versus Joe Zerillo?
Oh, I've seen this match. I have seen
You've
this match.
seen this match. Okay, here we go. A little bit of dirt here, guys.
They went head to head
Yeah.
on our Gelsoft Australia one day, quietly.
Yep.
Let's just say they were a tie. They
Yeah.
both gave up. They both gave up. All I could hear was and I'm so gonna get fired. They had fun with one another and shooting each other up. But they tied. They really did.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, they're a crack up. Like Joe, he was probably one of the first people I actually had a skirmish with, and it was at Nuketown. So I remember coming onto the field, and it was him 10 metres in front of me. He was standing behind a tree, and we were both just sort of popping out. And we spent like the entire 20 minutes just popping out behind the tree. None of us would go closer. None of us would withdraw. It was all just, popping out.
No,
And
Joe's notorious for
Yeah.
just staying back and
Yep.
just letting it rip.
it's gold.
Yeah.
But no, that's good. Good times.
Yeah.
Man, that field down there, GSA, looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome field. We're definitely trying to renovate it, give it a little bit more, not class, but just spruce it up a bit.
Yeah.
It's really going well, especially now that we've introduced our kids sessions and things
Yeah.
like that. So no, it's been good.
Man, I really want to get the time to come down there and actually play the
please
field.
do.
I mean, whenever I see the videos, the things that really impress me, like the waiting area, the viewing area at the start, it's not just like a plain slat board with a perspex window. It's there's some design in there, and
The
a little bit
boys-
of architecture.
Yeah,
It's
no,
good.
the boys really put their heads together and designed it well. And we've also got now TVs and stuff, so you can actually
that's
view
cool.
it from the viewing area. So no, it's
Excellent.
going well.
No, that's fantastic. Well, look, Gilly, thank you so much for your time today.
thank you for
Thanks for
having me.
coming in, and thank you, Pete and Joe, for letting us have Gilly for the afternoon. Much appreciated. Let us know how our viewers can find out more about you and TAC Edge.
Okay, so you can head over to tacedge.com.au. Sorry, I
Yep.
almost forgot that. And of course, our Instagram is at TACEdge. Facebook will be Tactical Edge Hobbies. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Instagram at TACEdgeGilly. So there you go.
Awesome. All right, guys, and as always, I'm Dan from Ozgel. You can find Ozgel at www.ozgel.com.au, and we're also on most socials as Ozgel and on Instagram at OzgelAmmo. Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you later.
Cheers.